Our final speaker tonight is somebody that you have definitely heard of. Maybe you even have the pleasure of knowing. The most unequivocally enthusiastic ambassador of entrepreneurship, period, and my friend, Peter Thomas.
You know, I can't see anything out there, but I think I'm going to be known as Grandpa. I look out there, and you know, you're all family. We've been around. I remember I joined YPO in 1974 in Calgary, and I only barely qualified, and it was through my learnings and going through YPO that I became a man, and I became understanding what my place in society was and where I felt comfortable. And Joe, my first university in YPO that I went to, I learned so much I couldn't even tell you how much I learned. But the basic thing was, one of the YPO guys that was speaking he qualified because he had about 17 companies that all qualified for YPO. And I looked, I couldn't believe it. How could you have 17 companies? I barely scraped through with one company. And so I had to go to his talk. And the room was probably maybe 100 people in the room, and 15 people showed up. And he looked at us, and he took us out on the beach in Hawaii, my first university. We sat down, about values, about your values in life and what's valuable to you. And we had to make out a piece of paper, and it said, on that piece of paper, we had to write down all the things, what we thought our values were, and on the other side, and I wrote down the normal family, relationships, and I wrote that all down. And then on the other side, you wrote down everything that you did. And everything that I did related to my work. Nothing related to my family and all that stuff. And I thought I was a real family guy. And I realized right there that I had to change my pattern immediately and get my values in line with what I want to become in life. And I set my values at that particular time. You know, health, freedom, happiness, and integrity. I actually had 13 when I left the conference, but I boiled them down to those 4 values. And health, freedom, happiness, and integrity. Along the path then of growing, as I moved along in my life, and because of my relationships and because of, you all know, I know a million stories, and all those stories are about that path of entrepreneurism. And we came along, and the opportunity of EO came along. So I got to be Grandpa again and help get that organization from off the ground. And as you move along in your years, you kind of gather what's important about life. What are the most important things? And so I look to you today, and I like to talk in three things seem to work for me. But there's your learning years, there's your earning years, and there's your returning years. And you go through, when you learn, and we saw all these kids up there, they're learning, earning, and returning all at the same time. I remember I was learning, then I was earning, and I've only been returning, and I feel hard returning, probably for the past 20 years. So you here all today have that opportunity to learn, earn, and return. And most of you are in that earning period of time, So you work like a dog, make it hard, look back. But when you have your returning years, you can start them early. Returning is not just giving money. It's giving your time, your heart, your experiences, and sharing them with the kids that we all saw today. So you decide which part of where are you at in your career right now? Learning, earning, and I hope that returning comes back in there. Because just taking part, like the guy who put his hand up for Calgary, the guy who put his hand up for Toronto, that's all we want. The money, it finds itself. You're ready for that. We find the people for that. But to have that personal commitment, one of the reasons I got so passionate, well, these kids here are the reason I got so passionate about GSEA, because we in this room can change the world. Bronwyn, Leanne, these kids are going to change the world, all of them. Shania, is there any doubt in your mind that they're going to not change the world? Or as somebody said, make one huge dent in it? Well, they all told you they could not do it without us. our support. We are the support. We're the air they ride on to get their successes. And it's our commitment and our obligation and our privilege to be able to help those people. That is giving back. That is returning. Because you're helping the people who say, I want to win. I want to help. I want to change the world. Well, let's get out there and do that. Well, as I got involved with the EO, with EO and then with GSEA, I turned around and I did my career. I'm kind of done with it and having happiness to get on my boat and have a good time in life. But I look back at these kids and these students, and I recognize that Canada was not doing that well in GSEA. It just wasn't doing that well. We weren't, and across the globe, in my opinion, not doing as good as we could do. So you know what? I want to get this team together again, and I want to build it up, and I want to change the world. I'm going to start by changing Canada. I want Canada to. I will not rest until Canada leads the world in the GSEA program. I'm just not going to do it. We'll gather like Daniel, Mikhail, all of us in this room, we can make that difference, and we can shine. And then Canada, like Michelle created, the first thing we did was create a GSEA playbook. And that playbook is available for the whole world to use, because it's all the same thing. Find a guy with some bucks, get the guy involved, get him to contribute, let him share the wealth, bring in everybody to help, and away we go. And the world, it's not complicated. It's not a complicated thing. And like we said, EO's only got one program of giving back, so it's easy. What do? You don't have to look through 10 checks, 10 ways to support. We can just look at one way, and that's to give that check back. I have a coach, and I still have a coach. I'm pretty involved still. Life is good, and I'm having fun, and still pretty involved. And Tony created a formula for me, which you can use for everything. And this formula is clarity, focus, and execution. Just clarity. Anything you're doing, wherever you want to go, just use those three things from now on. Well, clarity. You all here know now. Do you all know what the GSEA program is? Louder. Do you know what it is? You understand it. Okay. That's clarity. We know what it is. Now what are we going to do? Focus. What can I do? You sitting in that chair, what can I do to help that program? Give a name. The critical thing we can do is let the kids know in Canada they can win $100,000 in cash in prizes in those universities. We had 45 kids this year. If we don't have 100 next year, we're failing. So any one of you have inroads into your university. If you know a dean anywhere, make some pamphlet. Do whatever you need to do. Like Daniel today, crazy Daniel, had 100 people on my boat. He said he thinks he could do 10. Well, next year, does that sound reasonable? I might be crazy. Is 100 kids? Does that sound wrong? Can we do that? Can we commit in this room to help us get 100 kids applying? Because that's double, it's almost triple of what we got now. Because we need these kids coming in, like the kids that you saw tonight, to help give their gift to the world. And then it's easy. It's just execution. Believe me, I'll go out and find the money that we need to get this done. So from my bottom of my heart, I said, thank God I didn't have to talk just when those kids got finished talking, because I couldn't have done it. I don't think I've ever been so moved. So thank you so much for being here, for hearing our GSEA show, listening to our GSEA pitch. Have a fabulous convention of yours, and thank you for your time. Thank you.